What's up, YouTube world, and welcome back to Fitman Aquatics, another weekly update. So a couple things. I'm going to try and keep this one brief because we're really busy this week. We don't have a lot of free time. We have some guests in town, so we're constantly on the move. But I'm really going to try and get this video uploaded so that it is out there for you all to see by the end of tonight. But please don't hate me if it takes me tomorrow to get this video edited and uploaded. I just really haven't had any time to even record, or I honestly haven't been home in like the past 3 days. So anyway, coming down the pipe, July is a really crazy month. We have guests in town up until like the mid of July, and then we are going out of town, so I know I'm going to miss at least one weekly update, but I do have a few ideas on some videos that I'm going to try and put out instead that hopefully you guys will like, so stay tuned for that. Anyway, we're just going to jump right into it so I can keep this video short and sweet. Not too much has gone on with the tanks just because I've been so busy. And I'm hoping after we get back from vacation, I'll have a lot more time to work in the fish room, and we will be doing a lot more in here with terrariums, with more fish tanks, and all kinds of fun stuff that you guys can look forward to. Anyway, let's get started. The dragon plant is doing well. We got a cactus that we still haven't had time to put into a terrarium, but again, that'll probably have to wait until after vacation. The begonia is actually bouncing back really well now that it seems to not be getting as much light, so hopefully that's better, and we will hopefully be finding a closed terrarium to put that in. Moving down here, we do have the succulents looking pretty good. This plant is doing really well. I think it also will probably need to find a terrarium to go in here before too long, and we may have to break it into multiple terrariums. This, what looks like variegated Oakley creeping fig, is looking a little dying, but we'll try and cut back some of the bad leaves, and hopefully we can add some water or something and it'll bounce back. The succulents up here, again, they're not looking super good, but we'll see what we can do with it. Now, the little test tube geranium, if you will, that I have here is looking really good. I actually have a bit of side shoot growth from my Anarchus that I need to either trim off and replant or put somewhere else, and I do have a little bit of brown algae that I'm gonna have to clean out. So maybe I'll make a video one day, probably after vacation, how I do maintenance on this little test tube. And then down here, we actually did add another succulent in that terrarium, but unfortunately it died again. So I think we're just going to go with 2 succulents in this terrarium, which is fine. It may just be that's all the space that it can hold is for 2 succulents to live in there. So we may try and fill in that spot with a little bit more moss and see if that helps things and that works out. And then we have some more little succulents down here that are doing pretty good. A few of them are looking a little weak, but you know, it was like one plant that we broke into like 6 different plants, so it may just take some time to bounce back after we separated it all out. These guys over here, the nerve plants, are looking pretty good. The ends are a little brown, which is unfortunate, so it may need either some more watering or it just may need a little more light. I'm not quite sure. We'll have to be working on that, but for the most part, it's looking good. The snake plant, big surprise, is looking great. They're super easy to take care of, so that I'm thankful is one that we don't have to worry too much about. It's very forgiving if you don't get to watering it and things like that. Now moving on to the geranium. The plants in here are alive, and they're growing a little bit. They're not growing a bit, but that's okay. I am starting to see some more growth on my Anarchus again. But otherwise, there isn't too much going on in here. I don't think I have many new shoots from the Valsenaria. There might be some new shoots actually coming from my Cryptocorns, so that'll be good. I'm actually intrigued to see how it'll be if I just leave it for like 2 weeks or a week while we are on vacation. Now, moving further on, we'll move on to the shrimp tank here, which is doing well. We have still lots of shrimp. The tetras are looking great, and the guppy, I believe we are actually going to try and move out to the pond here either today or tomorrow. I don't know if we'll have enough time today to do all of that, but if not, we'll shoot for it probably tomorrow to get the next batch of guppies out there. Not too much going on with the other nano tanks right now. I don't want to speak too much about it because we do have big plans, and that is going to be something we're going to be focusing on this afternoon, but I don't want to spoil that surprise. So you guys just stay tuned for that. Hopefully the next weekly update will have a big surprise, at least for one of these tanks, and we're going to be working on it from there. And then, last but certainly not least, we're going to be looking at the guppy tank. So, for the most part, things are going fairly well. I do still see a little bit of string algae, but I think the 50% water changes every week is helping a lot. I do see some growth in the Rhynicii. I am trying to dose this twice a week with iron and Easy Green. I am seeing a little bit of growth in my carpeting plants, at least over here on the left side. I do need to do some trimming to get rid of some of these dead leaves and pull them out, but I think the water change day will be tomorrow. Again, I just don't really have time right now, but the Bacopa in the back is actually looking a little tawdry, so I may have to do some trimming on that, cut that back. So that's about it. I've tried to add a little bit of sand where that big hole was, and I'm going to try and replenish some of the sand around here so you don't see the fluval stratum as much. But otherwise, I think the 50% water change and the regular dosing is doing a lot. Now, you can probably see in that tank that there are a ton of guppies right now, so I am going to move hopefully, 5, 6, maybe even upwards of 10 of them out to the pond to let them grow, because as you guys will see in a second, that pond is looking awesome. The color on those guppies is getting really nice. I'm getting blues and yellows. You will see that there are a bunch of frogs growing in there now. I did get some pest snails in there, but I may be dabbling with an idea or two on attacking that, or I just might let them grow. So we will see how that progresses. But I know that's really condensed, and I would have liked to make a better video, but I am just so short on time, and I have so much stuff to do to plan to get ready for the vacation coming up and the people in town right now that we're trying to entertain. So life's very chaotic at this moment, but I hope you guys can stick with me. And after the month of July is pretty much over, we're looking to get rocking and rolling in this fish room when we have a lot more time. I mean, right now I am so busy that this still says June. All of this is still a month late. I haven't even had time to wipe this thing down and start putting up the new month of July, which we are already, a week into? Right, but what can you do? That's how life is sometimes. So stay tuned. I promise that there is going to be a lot more coming. You just may have to bear through a kind of okay-ish, not very super exciting month of July. But I promise you that we got big plans coming in August, and then the months as we move into the winter and things start to get a little bit colder, and we'll be moving indoors more and more. Alright, well, out here at the pond, as always, we'll take a look and see how things are going underneath the water. Had some pretty good success with the guppies so far, so we'll hope that keeps on going. I do have quite a few frogs now, to my girlfriend's dismay, but decided it was a good time to get the underwater view for the pond since we have a little bit of sunlight, so hopefully you guys can see it a little bit better. But without any further ado, you guys enjoy. Unfortunately, it looks like I lost a guppy that got stuck in the plastic, so I will have to be doing some work on the dividers that I have. But otherwise, things are looking pretty good. And one more thing that I have actually while we are outside here is, we noticed this the other day, is I don't know how or where they came from, but if you see all those, that is actually some pothos plants that we are getting, that is growing just naturally in our backyard, which is real sweet. So I may be adding some of that to the pond, or we may be moving some of that inside to use just to have inside of our house. Alright gang, well, that's all I got for you. So as always, hit that like button, share it, subscribe if you haven't already. All of those things are greatly appreciated by me and my girlfriend to try and get this YouTube channel and basically my name, or the name of Fitman Aquatics, out there in the community so that we can help more people, and some people will hopefully take more of an interest in what we're doing and I can inspire people more. If you have any questions about how the fish room's doing, want some more in-depth information, because I know this was a pretty quick video, drop a comment down below. Anything you want to ask, I'm all ears. I am happy to help out as much as I can. Again, I'm sorry that this isn't the most exciting video and that too much has happened, but I will be working more and more in here once we get through guests and vacations and all of that fun jazz. So until then, you guys stay awesome and stay tuned.